now in the fireside chat segment with Dr. Roche, the curator of My Biggest Blunders. Welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, Doc. So why don't you want to be called founder and director?
No. Founder is NGO. I'm the founder of. No, it's the curator.
It's standard, professional English, and now we understand that the PhD is not.
No.
Yeah.
You didn't write a PhD.
People went to school outside. So, Dr. Roche,
Yes,
such an amazing vision. Can you just walk us through the inspiration? How did it happen? Why this project? Why MBB?
So, I think one of the biggest things that I took from that a lot of people didn't even talk about, right, is failure. So when I experienced my first failure, I basically lost everything. Lost my car, lost my house.
How long ago is this?
Just before, around 2010. You know when Philip was here?
Oh, you were feeling him.
I was feeling him. So during that time, I woke up. In fact, what happened was, when the guys are looking for your car, so I kept on ducking and diving, and they'll come to the office, white guys.
Sure.
They'll come to the office because we're like co-sharing.
Okay.
And so they didn't know who they were looking for. Right? So they were just looking for this guy. He works here. And every time I had to go to the office, I'll call the receptionist.
Just to
are they
get
there?
a sense.
Are they there?
God.
Right?
Yes.
And so it was a bit hard. Are they there? No, they're not here. And then I'll go to the office. And then this other time, I go, they are there. I forgot to call. They are there. All right, sitting on the couch. And so as I see that. So they look at me, but they're not sure. I didn't know that in the eyes of white guys, all black people are the same.
Okay.
So
lucky for
so,
you.
So they look at me, but they're not so sure. And then they were like, "Are you Roche?" I'm like, "No, I'm looking for Roche." So they say, "Yeah, we're looking for Roche." Okay, let me check it. I just came in now. Let me check for him in the office. I'll let you know. And then I pretended as if I'm checking someone. Fortunately, there was no one at the reception. And I came back. No. Unfortunately, he's not here. It's like, okay, no, we'll wait for him. Are you guys sure? Okay. And then obviously I didn't stay long in the office.
You had another meeting.
So you can run away from that for quite some time. And I got tired and decided now I'm taking the car back. So I remember when I took it back, you don't know how much, because now I have to use public transport. So you don't know how much it costs at the time. So I take the car back, we do all the paperwork, surrender in the car, and then now I need to go to the taxis. I don't know where the taxis are, and I have to ask for a lift. And the guy says, "Is there petrol in your car?" Well, I say, yeah, there is. I'm like, okay, let's go. He grabs my key, and then we get it. Now I get into the passenger, he gets into he drives my car to the taxi.
That image.
So it's such a weird experience. But I think what you feel alone. I felt alone. I felt like a failure. You don't talk to anyone. So that went into a bit of depression at the time when everybody's feeling Philip. I'm not feeling him. And then I had to start from scratch and rebuild. But there's a whole story of how I got there, business mistakes, bad decisions I took, focused on, I was running an accounting practice. I had little clients, and then I had this one big project. I'm like, yay, this is it. I left the small clients, went for this, right? Okay. And it was a government thing. No, comrade, don't worry, comrade. We'll renew. It's a 1 year. Don't worry, comrade. It's a 1 year program, but we'll renew it. And you know what it is. Elections come. The comrades that promised are gone. New guys don't know you. There's no renewal. Payments take forever.
You also
Yes.
no
come
longer
through.
have small clients.
No, my small clients are gone.
Yes.
I
Because
literally,
you
I
didn't take
found
care
the
of it.
better ones.
Yeah.
The small ones are gone. So,
Makes me think of a different analogy.
so, you know, I wanted to find, as I'm dealing with other entrepreneurs, I actually pick up that actually we all go through this.
Yeah.
One or another in different businesses, we all go through this, but we don't talk about those experiences. But also what I've also learned is most successful entrepreneurs have failed before. They've made mistakes before. It's a pity that society, we like finished products. We like people who are successful. But what we don't understand is in order for you to be successful, you're going to have to make mistakes.
Yep.
And we shouldn't stigmatize mistakes. And we should actually embrace them as part and parcel of the journey. So that's what sort of gave birth to my biggest blunders, to say let's open up, let's create a safe space
Sure.
to talk about our mistakes and our failures. Because we all have them,
No, without a
one or
doubt.
another. So I'm looking forward to your mistakes as well.
And the ones that we're still gonna make.
And the ones that are still
I
gonna
keep
make.
telling
No,
people, like, I'm still
absolutely.
gonna make bigger ones.
I'm also making new ones.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I'm also making new ones,
Yeah.
and that's the goal: to make new mistakes and move forward. Don't repeat the same mistake.
Yeah.
There's the
Otherwise-
statement, it's a book actually, but it's also a statement by John Maxwell, fail forward.
Yeah. And that's the idea. If you're gonna build a growing business, fail forward. I mean, my favorite entrepreneur, also one of my favorite, is Jeff Bezos, and he says he's got a graveyard of failed ideas, like a whole graveyard of failed ideas. So, and he's still failing. I mean, you look at some of their products that they introduced that didn't go anywhere, but there are those that they introduced and they flourished.
That
So that's
changed
the goal.
Market. Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I do think that in the answer that you gave us, you kind of tapped into the next question that I had, which would have been, or which was, or which is, what is your intention with My Biggest Blunder? So if you could maybe go a little bit deeper.
So the idea is, let's talk about our mistakes. Let's talk about the bad decisions we have made.
How does this help?
Yeah. One of the things, because we've been doing a series of this.
Yes.
If you go to our YouTube channel, you see there's almost over 50 talks. And one of the things that has come out from the speakers is what this process, this whole My Biggest Blunder process, has helped them to reflect, sit back and reflect. It's therapeutic. Some said it's therapeutic. By me talking about it, I've never spoken to anyone about this.
Sure.
We had one guy who was homeless at some point, and his family members didn't know that at some point he was homeless. His friends didn't know that at some point he was homeless. And talking about it for him was, releasing it out of him. But also other entrepreneurs, they look at this thing and they learn from other people's mistakes
Very
as well.
true.
And you don't repeat other people's mistakes yourself. You make new mistakes. So that's the idea. Let's learn from each other.
Sure. And this would be a systematic process or just something that takes place automatically? So
there's a process. You bring your story, we help you package your story. You get on stage, platform, recording, the story is packaged. But we don't want lectures, the one-on-one on how to fail, blunder, 7 ways to do this. No. We want the story.
Sure.
Take
As
us behind.
authentic as possible,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
vulnerable as
yeah.
possible.
Take us behind the scene, what happened. When Morena was sharing his story, goosebumps, because it was like, I was kicked out of my apartment. And I only had my bag. And I left the apartment. And I don't know where I was going.
Sure.
I know I can't go home. I know I can't go home because home there is poor. They're actually looking at
you
me
as
to help. I can't go there.
Sure.
So I just walked. I don't know why I was walking, but I walked. Now, that for me it puts you in his shoes. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think even anybody that's just listening to you even just share that.
Yeah.
Now you must watch the. You must watch the story.
Yeah, it's just a crazy story.
It's
And
a
I
crazy
actually
story.
feel like, can you kind of go, add some more? Because I think just
I mean,
to give
without
it-
taking his story away,
Yeah.
he's this young guy, very from Kimberley, ambitious. He was working as a security guard at some point.
Okay.
Due to some circumstances, he caught someone, and it happened that the person he caught was a big fish. Wada. He got fired. Right. Then he started a business where all these promises. He wanted to go into IT. Right. He went into IT, but there were all these promises that were not fulfilled. By that time, he was staying in a flat that he was using his salary to pay rent. Now he got fired unexpectedly. He's trying this business, it's not working, right? And now what he starts doing is he starts selling things in his apartment to pay the rent. So this month he will sell the couch, raises money to pay the rent. Next month he sells the fridge. The month after he sells the TV, right? Until there's nothing to sell anymore. And now he can't make rent. And now the landlord says, if you can't make rent, you have to vacate. He was kicked out. And he says he was walking. He didn't have a clue where he was going, but he was walking. He finds himself at the bus terminal, your Intercape so he finds himself there. He says, I'll crash here for tonight. So, I mean, he's an ideal client. He's got a bag of clothes. He's there. And now they're asking him, when is your bus there? Officials. When is your bus coming? No, my bus is coming. Mind you, say it's 8 o'clock, right, in the evening. My bus is coming at midnight. Okay, so they leave you, because remember they have couches, so you can crash there while you're waiting for your bus. Midnight comes. Say, when is your bus coming? It's coming in the AMs, right? So he keeps on kicking the can down the road until it's morning. Now it's morning. You can't go back there again because they saw you yesterday. So he has to look for another spot. He hasn't eaten. So he says, then he walks to the nearest KFC, right? And for me, that's what got to me, because he says, while he's at the KFC, he's hungry. He doesn't have anything to eat. So by standing next to a KFC and inhaling the smell that comes from inside the KFC, right? That was like filling up his stomach with just the smell of KFC. For that particular moment, you're filling up your stomach. And that's good enough for that particular moment. Until someone picked him up, a friend of his or something picked him up. I said, no, man. I have a shack somewhere. I'm not using it. You can crash there. He goes there, and he says, that's like a basic shack. When you're inside, it's got those holes.
Oh my God.
You can see outside. You can see someone passing. In winter, you can imagine. But he says winter was not so bad. He says what was bad was August with the dust, because the dust gets inside. And because he was sleeping on this rug thing, and every time he has to take it out, the dust out and put it back. And he had his laptop, and he would go to the nearest hub, get free Wi-Fi, and start his business from there. And there were opportunities at the hub, and as time went on, he was able to rebuild himself. He's an amazing entrepreneur now. He's actually now based in Cape Town. He has traveled the world representing South Africa. He was voted as the best entrepreneur, I think, at the province or something. And one message that he says for me that that stuck with me was, he does not take any opportunity that comes to him very lightly. Because he says he knows where he comes from, where he's been. So half opportunity he goes, right? Because if he plays with his opportunities, he knows that at some point he was hopeless.
And you might go back
Sure.
to that.
And you might go back to that.
Absolutely
It
crazy.
makes me realize how much the entrepreneurial journey is like quite spiritual on its own.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
just that,
Yeah.
and meeting that person, and the importance of just still walking
Yeah.
or trying to push
Yeah.
until you'll meet your hero or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, as culture
Yeah.
speaks about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that story is.
But why do people do this?
Yeah. So,
I mean,
What do they do?
I'm an entrepreneur still.
Yeah.
Why am I still an entrepreneur
Yeah.
after everything?
I don't
Because
know.
it's you. For you, it's linked with purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
if you understand the purpose part of things and you feel that it's linked with that,
Yeah.
even when
It's
you
who
want to
you
check
are.
out.
Yeah.
It's who you are. I mean, he could
Becomes
have
part of
easily
your
gone back
DNA.
and looked for another
That's
job.
exactly
He
my
didn't.
point. Yeah.
He didn't. He kept on doing this.
Sure, that's quite crazy.
Yeah.
So we are with the curator of MBB, Dr. Roche, and he's taking us through why we set up this kind of an institution and what the whole purpose of the org is about. So Ria will take us through some of the other questions.
Yeah. Dr. Roche, so we now tapped into, this individual who's now traveling the world, the country, and is quite successful in his business, and that's what we believe success is. Although we do know that success
Yeah.
It's
is
defined
relative.
differently.
Yeah. But he had his lowest pits, and he shared that element. Even though he's on the high
Yes.
parts of entrepreneurship, but he shared it and was very vulnerable. So I want you to kind of explain to us, the importance of vulnerability,
Yeah.
because I think that the challenging thing about being in entrepreneurship is you're taught to suck it up. You're taught to, not necessarily to pretend, but to act as though things aren't wrong, even though they are. But there's something about vulnerability that actually helps you along the way, because then the people that need to help you are able to help you at your level. So please tap into vulnerability. Why is vulnerability
It's
such an
critical
important
because you need to be able to say, I need help.
element? Yeah.
Sure.
You need to be able to say, I'm not coping. You need to be able to park your ego on the side and say, guys, I'm stuck. Unfortunately, a lot of entrepreneurs don't do that.
Sure.
They pretend as if, you ask, how's business? No, it's going well. It's going
Pushing.
well. We're
Pushing. I'm busy. Are you productive?
Yeah. Why else he gets
Cash
into
flow.
the car?
No.
I don't know. He gets into the car and it's yellow light.
Exactly.
Petrol. And I think being authentic and being vulnerable, people are able to help. People are able to come through and say, you know what, actually there's someone that I know that can help you. Unfortunately we somehow, and I think this is what we're trying to dispel, we somehow equate struggling and failure as we have stigmatized it as you being a failure as a person. But if we are real, we know that entrepreneurship will show you flames. It's unforgiving. It's unforgiving.
It is.
And a lot of people, they leave corporate and they're like, you know what, I know what I need to know. I'm smarter. I was a manager. I was this director. So this entrepreneurship thing, it's not so difficult. Until they get in there and they realize I have to buy printing paper. How much is printing paper? Like when I was working, there was someone who was
just there.
Now I have to buy printing paper. You don't know how much it is.
Yeah.
The
That's if you have
conversation.
a printer.
Yeah,
That's
because
if you
they
have a
also,
printer.
yeah.
The conversations are different. You're used to at work. We talk this big English. I'm surrounded by economists and accountants. In your business, you're surrounded by someone who actually stamps or punches or files. Now you can't have those smart conversations with anyone anymore, right? So you need to calm down and fight for clients and go pitch. No one pitches for you. You have to go look for business. So those are the challenges, and you need to park your ego and be vulnerable enough to say, guys, I thought I knew this. Actually, I'm battling with this. Is there anywhere where I can find help?
Sure. And on that, Doc, also there's, in your book, you talk about this particular contrast between being in corporate and also being in business, right? And you say that people that are in corporate are able to buy the big cars and live in Sandton. Do you find that many of our mistakes as entrepreneurs is particularly trying to emulate that?
Yeah. Downscaling. When you are in corporate, your salary is guaranteed, well, sort of. And when you're an entrepreneur, it's not really guaranteed. And what you don't want is, you don't want the little budget that you have to go and be consumed by luxuries that are not necessarily producing income for you. So the hardest thing for entrepreneurs who come from corporate is downscaling, moving from the 4x4 that you're driving to a small 1.8 or 1.6 later, because it saves petrol. You are able to navigate for a long time with a small budget. So that mindset to transition down and downscale, it's very hard. And now, as a result, because you don't want to downscale, then what ultimately happens is, because you can't afford this lifestyle, the bank comes. The bank comes,
and
they
then
say,
they come in the office sitting on the couch looking for Roche.
So the whole thing of downscaling your car, downscaling, if possible, where you stay, downscaling the life of restaurants all the time, downscaling the amount of money you spend on your phone and airtime and data and things like that. So just downscaling your lifestyle. It gives you, at some point for me, I made a peace with myself that I'm not going to buy new clothes for a very long time, right?
Sure.
So clothes is not my thing, This VIP events is not my thing, guys. Miss me. Give me zero, ma'am. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. Because they come with all this pressure. So I'm not
because I was about to say, I think one of the things I've noticed with entrepreneurs, let me say the younger ones, is that pressure. Well, there's the Instagram life, right? I need to prove that I'm at wherever, I'm doing business, I'm with the right people. And I need to portray a certain image, and Gandhi business is business, guys. Just supply the product or the service, and it's almost
an invoice, and that's it. So downscaling is always a challenge for a lot of entrepreneurs. Living a simple life, basically. For me, I took because I could see that I can't afford this, So I needed to sort of downscale, and I was like, if ever I'm gonna spend my money on something, it will be books. For me, it's like, I buy books, that's my thing. Books.
I've got that problem
July, the horses miss me. I'm not coming. Because it comes with its own, budget, for instance. So for a while, that was my life. But the funny part is, even when you can afford to do the horses, sort of, like, I'm fine. I didn't die if I didn't go there. So yeah.
Interesting perspective. Because people say that's where the deals are made. But anyway.
I hear that. But I think,
I guess it depends industries. It depends on what your, but also your personality. Like if it's really not your scene, it's not your scene.
Yeah, but also sometimes you do get to a point where you notice that you actually have to do real business. I think the connection business can get you into a lot of trouble. So just going out, having a sales pipeline and all of the systems that are necessary just goes a long way. But with that, Doc, the other thing that I wanted to touch on is the issue of motivation. Because now I'm thinking, if I'm not going to be living the Instagram life, which I was maintaining when I was in corporate, what motivates me?
And I think that's the thing, right? You need to, and to this point, how you define your success. And I think for me, my motivation was seeing impact, seeing people grow, seeing people moving from this level to that level because of the work that we have done with them. So for me, that was the motivation, seeing people succeed. And some of them have succeeded far more than me, right? Some of my mentors are living the high life, and I'm very happy for them.
That's what happens to teachers, right? You teach them maths, they become engineers.
And they become, So I think from the outset you need to sort of define what is your why. Why are you doing this, and build from there. The success will come if you drive it, you work hard, you put in the hours. Over time, it's not something that happens over time. You put in your 10,000 hours. Over time, success will come, but the why remains. The why remains. The thing with chasing material things is when you get them, then what? What do
On
you
to
do?
the next
You
one,
know?
sort of like a chasing drug,
Yes.
chasing a high.
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
So someone said to me, money is a paintbrush to an artist, right? As an artist, you don't admire the paintbrush. You admire what the paintbrush can do.
Yes.
You know, which is you being able to do something amazing. So yes, we all love money, but money is, for me, is something that I use as a stepping stone to helping. It gives me that opportunity to help more. You know.
Wow.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the thing, that you want to be able to be driven by something that's bigger than a car, a house. You know, I mean, billionaires, I find that they're not creative. Like billionaires, they spend their time or money doing more or less the same thing, right?
Yeah.
You buy a private jet, you buy a boat, you buy a mansion or an island somewhere, and that's it. And then what?
Sure.
What after that? Then watches and jewelry, and then what? Okay, tick, 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 then what?
Hey.
It's a tough one.
It is. It is.
Right.
But I'm interested to know, I mean, you've been in this game for quite a while, and like you've mentioned, that you even have mentees that kind of overtook you, if we call it overtaking.
Yeah.
But what has kept you in it? What has kept you?
Seeing someone says, as a result of this program you did, I was on the brink of ending everything. And I don't know what happened. I was not even planning to come here. My friend just dragged me, and as a result of this, it has changed my life.
Sure.
You know, just that for me, you know, is what I'm here for. You know, so that's the story. So someone will send me, some people I've never heard or spoken to, like, I read your book, and I just needed to reach out and say thank you. Like, you know, so for me, I think that's the thing. If I die having touched people's lives, I'm rich.
Sure. That is
Die
absolutely
unfolded,
Yeah.
die fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
We are still talking to Dr. Roche. You can catch the chat on YouTube. That's my Blunder story. I hope I got it right. Is it my Blunder story on YouTube, and also on Twitter? And Doc, I just wanted to get a sense. How do you actually select these entrepreneurs? So yes, there's a curation process and everything, but there's a lot of failed entrepreneurs out there. How do you select the right candidates?
I think the ability to be open and share,
Okay.
and be authentic. So a lot of people are still not ready, maybe not, they don't have, people talk about, I'm building my personal brand, and therefore I don't want people to see me as a failure.
Yeah.
So I always need to look like I'm winning all the time. But even though you know that they've got blunders, so
Sure.
people are not ready to talk about certain stories. We have approached certain entrepreneurs, and they're still in the blunder mode. They're still in the pits using
Sure.
Rias. They're still in there, and highly emotional, so they're not ready to talk about this. But we look for those who we think have managed to come out of their biggest blunder and are ready to talk about those in being authentic. I think that's what's important. So we all have blunders. Most people have blunders, but not most of them are ready to talk about it.
True.
So we look for
Like
those.
you mentioned, it's a healing, it's
Yeah, yeah.
literally like a thing that you go through mentally, because you're reflecting.
It's cathartic.
As you're reflecting, you go through the emotions, and sometimes it's not easy to just articulate, because it takes you back, you get triggered.
Yes.
And are there specific sort of like attributes that you would find being common amongst these entrepreneurs that are able to go into the dip and get themselves out?
So most of them who've been through the dip are people who, and I think it's normal for everyone, we isolate ourselves. So we isolate ourselves because we feel we are losing and everyone else is winning. And as a result, we don't want to find ourselves feeling like we are losers in a bunch of winners.
Yeah.
I mean, there's this whole
Sure.
theory, it's a psychological theory, relative deprivation disorder. So what relative deprivation disorder says is which countries has the highest suicide rates?
Okay.
Is it countries with happy people,
Oh.
or is it countries where it's mostly sad people?
Okay.
Right? Now, the highest suicide rate is found in countries where there's a lot of happy people. Because if I'm depressed and everyone else is happy, I'm truly depressed. Because I feel like,
Sure.
there's something wrong with me.
Something's wrong with me, yeah.
But if I'm depressed, in a sea of everyone else who's depressed, we're okay.
Siyafana,
No. We're okay, right? So and I think,
Interesting.
and I think what we're trying to say is, as entrepreneurs, we are all wounded somehow.
Yeah.
Right? And let's talk about it so that if we're all wounded here and you're also wounded, so you don't have to worry. So most of them, they isolate themselves, but what I find, and that's more common, is they don't lose that self-belief that I can find my way out of here.
Okay.
And in them finding their way out, there's always a mentor. There's always I met someone.
Wow.
There's always I read a book.
I attended my biggest blunder.
I attended my biggest
Yeah.
blunders.
Or I watched it.
Yeah, so I watched it, right?
Yeah.
And there's always that. And they're able to, okay. Then that one moment, they're able to. I remember when I was also depressed and I lost everything. What it took was an event that a guy was hosting using my office, right?
Sure.
I was like, I didn't want to go, but I promised that I'll go and open for them, and then they can use my space. So the idea for me was, I'll open and then go back
And come back.
and sleep.
Go back to your depression.
And go back to my depression, right?
Sure.
And then they'll call me when they're done, and then I'll go back and I'll lock.
Sure.
So I go, I open, then I'm like, I'm here, let me just set them up nicely. 5 minutes, I'm going. Then 5 minutes was like, okay, Bramai Kundani was speaking there at the event. I'm like, okay, that's not bad, let me just sit. I'll sit at the back, right? That event for me is a turning point. After that event, I came out. And I think that's what we're trying to do with my biggest brothers, to say, don't isolate yourself. There's like-minded, right? And we are sharing our stories. And sometimes what happens is, when you hear someone share their story, you look at your story. Like when you come, it's like, let's put all our blunders on the table. And you look, it's like, oh, they're going to laugh at me, they're going to laugh at me.
My list.
And then Paul puts a blood like, like, whoa, my blunder is nothing. Like, my blunder is nothing, right?
I'm ready to share.
Okay, but it's not so bad. Let me go first, right? So and that's what this is about.
Wow.
Then you tweet, people are going through a lot.
That's right.
Like, yo, guys,
Too rough.
The other thing I do want to dwell on, Doc, as we draw to a conclusion,
Yes.
is this matter of, again, in terms of personal attributes, right? Do you find that most entrepreneurs have functional depression?
Okay, maybe school us a bit, hey?
So what I mean, I'm not even saying this from a technical perspective. I'm saying it, depression that still wakes up, baths, right? Dresses up, goes to the meeting, still makes that call. Although I'm not perfect, I'm not fine per se, but I'm functional. I'm still able to push through whatever difficulties that and barriers that are placed before me. So my car is on yellow, but I still drive. Basically.
I mean, I think that's how we survive this thing. You still need to wake up. You still need to go out there and open for people to use your space. You still need to send that invoice, or not even the proposal. You're not even so sure. And I think that the challenge always is, I've learned this the hard way. The challenge is, when you're depressed, you don't even open the curtains. You wake up in the morning, you don't even open the curtains. You don't even open the window. Like, why? For what, right? And what I've learned is, those moments are the moments where you need to push yourself. And this is why sessions like this are important, because we're actually saying that you're not alone, that we've been through this, and by all means avoid isolating yourself. Because that's where depression wants you. It wants you isolated from everyone else, because it knows if you are with other people, the energy, the positivity will rub off on you, and then you are fine. Depression doesn't want that, right? So even when you don't feel like it, I mean, when an entrepreneur says, "I didn't feel like coming here, I just came because my friend says let's go," right? And when you are there, there's free food. Yes, there's free food, right? And you find yourself, it's like, whoa, okay, so it's those things, because we can't all of us always be motivated.
That's true.
It's I don't think it's possible that you're always on the high. You go through the depths, and the thing is, you need to know when you go through the depth, what is it that you do. Some people go to church, some people go to gym, some people throw plates and pots, whatever. But you need to know what is it that you do. Others have got a mentor. When they feel like things are not going well, they call, right? I have got friends who are entrepreneurs. I've mentored other people without even realizing that I'm mentoring them. The guy was on the brink of losing his family, and he calls me, and as we're talking, it's like, and I'm saying, you are so lucky. You've got this woman that comes to you and does this. He was on the brink of saying, "Doc, I'm out of here." Before he can tell me that, and here I am appreciating him, appreciating his family, and he says, "I just had to put the phone down and reevaluate," right?
Sure.
Also counselor.
Seems.
There's a whole list of
No. But I'm sort of like just having a conversation.
Yeah. No, that's beautiful. I think one of the entrepreneurs we're going to be listening to is going to be sharing about that when she was going through that dip, just waking up was a very big challenge, right? And as you're indicating, opening curtains, and depression doesn't want you to also be clean, seeming
another one.
tendencies. So playing with water there is very key.
But depression doesn't want it.
It doesn't want all of that. Just wants you to
Don't brush your teeth.
It's crazy. Okay, so where do you see this going? So at this point, there's been a number of amazing sessions that have been held. We've heard a number of stories, but what's the vision? Where are we going next?
Look, I mean, we just scratched the surface, so there's still more. We're looking for more stories. We're looking for more authentic entrepreneurs to come and share stories. We obviously are opening up the platform. It's sort of like a franchise concept. So you like the platform, you want to be part of the platform, you apply, we give you the license to do your own event, invite your own entrepreneurs, run with it. There's more stories, not only here, all over the country, all over the continent. There's more stories. And the idea, I think, the long term is, let's not stigmatize failure. Let's open up about it. Let's share it. Let's share our. It's a journey. You're documenting your entrepreneurship journey, in a way. So there's more coming, and I'm looking forward to hearing more stories.
Clearly, we're gonna have to come back.
It seems.
Until our next
new
Blunder.
blunders.
Allowed 10 billion.
You won't believe what I did now. That's amazing. And what kind of support, partnership would the platform need?
Look, I mean, for us, support to subscribe, watch, attend our events. If people feel, I want to be part of this thing, we are open. Whatever resources available, sponsorship available, we are open. As long as you are passionate about entrepreneurship, passionate about taking the gospel forward, and about people, really. This has to be everywhere, because entrepreneurs are everywhere. And where there are entrepreneurs everywhere, you are guaranteed to be
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Doc, thank you so much. Again, this is a very profound conversation we've had with the curator of MBB, Dr. Roche Mamabolo, and he's just basically shared a number of amazing stories. And yeah, keep in touch with the platform. We're going to be having a number of the entrepreneurs that are going to be sharing their stories and become vulnerable, as we've heard, and open up about what they've experienced. So where are we going from here? Yeah?
We will be having our first guest, which is Rami Treni. But before we get to that, thank you, Dr. Roche, for just sharing and being vulnerable with us, being authentic. It is a scarce commodity that we have in the entrepreneurial space, and I'm pretty grateful that you took that leap, that risk. I hope it was a calculated one.
No, it was.
I'm having a last minute question before we skip. So between men and women, who are more comfortable to share?
Very good question.
What are the stats saying there?
Yeah.
What's the numbers?
Is it women?
Yeah.
Okay.
Women are very authentic. They very reflective,
Comfortable.
comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, the stats always says that women speak more than 10,000 words in a day than men. So,
And men?
I think men is like 3,000 words or something
And
in a
which is
day.
weird because the speaking industry is dominated by men.
By men, you know. So yeah, but I mean, the stats are saying that women are more open, they're more vulnerable.
Okay.
And guys, they tend to want to still remain macho
Okay.
and superhero
Okay.
and in control and in charge
Wow.
until it's too late,
Sure.
until they come looking for the car. Then, and only then, I'll say I have a problem.
Sure.
But prior to that, we still have this mask that we put, that we are still in control, everything is fine. And as a result, I don't need to come and speak there.
Yeah.
Why?
I see.
Right?
Okay, so I guess the lesson with that is don't let your ego destroy you.
Yeah.
This is particularly for gentlemen.
Yeah.
Doc,
Yeah.
thank you so much. So we're moving over to Rami is going to be sharing.
Yeah. So there's
his profile.
9 speakers,
Yes, 9. Yeah.
1 artist, and yeah, it's
Wow.
gonna be amazing. So
Wow.
I'm looking forward
Wow.
to revealing one, unveiling the.
You got a really
Tops.
good list right there.
Yeah.
Really good list.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna be amazing. So
Wow.
thank you so
Looking
much.
forward to it.